Well, hello, hello, everybody. I'm always running across stuff that I want to get across to people, and my specific people, because sometimes they don't know and they do know, but they don't know, right? So I came across this article today. I'm gonna play this video, and then this video is gonna make sense after I get done playing this video.
Midterms.
Not that guy right here. Hold on.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Now, everybody, everybody wondered, why did these senators put this particular PSA out? Why was this put out? And we just couldn't figure out what the hell was going on with the senators and the congresspeople, ex-CIA, ex-whatever, was putting out this PSA about not following unlawful orders. So we figured it out. It all stemmed from two senators, who, a Republican and a Democrat, who was surveying or looking at the missions that they have been doing in the Caribbean, where they're dropping drones on boats, losing people's lives. These two senators in the Senate were looking all at the reports, and they came to the conclusion that the Trump administration is committing war crimes. Specifically, HEGSETH is committing war crimes. According to them, and this is a quote, the committee is aware of the recent news reports in the Department of Defense initial response regarding alleged follow-on strikes on suspected narcotic vessels in the Southcom area of responsibility. The committee has directed inquiries to the Department of War, Department of Defense, the War, whatever, and we will be conducting vigorous oversight to determine the facts related to these circumstances. Well, according to them, they had been looking at the mission, all of the paperwork, all of the statements, and come to find out, according to them, they think Pete Hegseth committed war crimes by ordering the deaths of all of these people on these ships. Now, according to them, an order of no quarter was issued, right? And the order of no quarter it's an old military phase, right? That says, don't spare the enemy, don't take any prisoners, don't show any mercy. In other words, everybody on the opposing team should be killed, not captured. So if a leader or a commander, in this case, HEGSETH, gives an order to show no quarter, it means soldiers are told to kill the enemy instead of allowing them to surrender. Do not take prisoners. Do not offer safety if they lay down their weapons. Why is it serious today? Because no quarter is considered a war crime under international law and waters. People who surrender must be protected. You cannot order the killing of soldiers who are no longer fighting. Now, according to these two senators, there's a video of two people hanging on the side of the boat, and Pete Hegseth gave the order to kill. The show no quarter order. Okay? Now, that's kind of in dispute because Pete Hegseth, according to Pete Hegseth, he said, I didn't tell nobody to kill nobody. I ain't telling nobody to kill nobody. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. But see, he's the kind of arrogant prick who doesn't have the experience. So I would take the word of the officers who said Pete Hegseth gave them the orders to kill. He denies he gave orders to kill everybody on alleged narco boat. Now, as far as I know, they haven't pulled any evidence from the boats. We don't see any drugs. We don't see anything. All we understand is that one day this president and this Secretary of Defense decided that they were going to go out into the waters and start breaking off drug dealers. No rhyme or reason. We don't know. There's no evidence. Nobody said anything. Now they're demanding evidence because they have evidence that they were given that unlawful order. This is why we got that video from the senators. This is why we got that video from the senators telling the people who were involved with the raids, involved with the bombing of the boat, that if you know these are illegal orders, then you do not have to follow those illegal orders. And the officers had been asking other people, we know that this is an illegal order. What can we do? No quarter. An order of no quarter. Do not take prisoners. Do not spare the enemy. And they have a videotape of two men clinging to the side of a boat. And they told the senators, or they told someone, the officers involved with this mission told someone that Pete Hegseth told them to kill everyone involved. When they found out the two men were hanging on the side of the boat, kill those men. Hello, Classy Neck. So this is how we got that videotape from last week or week before. This is how we got that tape, or that tape from the other senators, because this person, incompetent person that he is, Defense Secretary ordered a no quarter order. The U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has declared recent reporting that he may have illegally ordered all people to be killed in a military strike in the Caribbean as fake news. He even said it was fake news. He tried to get out of it by saying it was fake news yesterday, adding that the series of strikes of people on boats have been lawful under both U.S. and international law. He's still saying it was lawful. Now, the two senators, a Republican and a Democrat, have opened up an investigation to see if this was a lawful order or not, to read through the transcripts, to read through the tape, read through the reports, read through all of those things, and I guess they want to pull him back in and then have him testify, because he's not very good at testifying. Okay? Not very good at that. Hegseth lambasted reports about his role in the strikes as fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory, reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. Wow. The remarks came after a Washington Post report this week alleged that HEGSETH ordered defense officers to kill everybody traveling on a boat that was being surveilled by analysts on September 2nd, the first strike of many carried out in recent months by the Trump administration. The White House said without proof, hey, Natural KRC, the White House said without proof that the people on the boats in the Caribbean killed in the Pentagon operations were drug smugglers. But that's not what the committee is aware of. Committee is aware of recent news reports and the Department of Defense allegations. But they still want to see all of the tapes because they do not believe that this person just ordered a hit. This is why we got the tape from the senators. This is why the senators made that tape to tell the men who were being involved with this Venezuelan project, any kind of illegal order, that you're not supposed to do illegal orders. Because some of those people involved in those missions had been calling other authorities to ask them, should we follow these orders? We have never had this issue before. We have never had soldiers questioning their orders. And I would say, don't question your orders. But they clearly understand that these are orders that need to be questioned. Okay? What no quarter, he called a no quarter. What does show no quarter mean? Show no quarter mean nobody lives. Basically, it means if you have an AK-47, that means everybody in the motherfucking room must die. So this is the order that Pete Hegseth gave. Okay.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is now facing potential war crimes exposure after reports that he ordered U.S. forces to kill everybody on a drug boat in the Caribbean. Here's what the report is saying. A U.S. missile hits this boat off the coast of Trinidad. The boat is burning. 2 people are literally clinging to the wreckage, alive, helpless, not fighting. According to the Washington Post, Hegseth's order was simple: kill them all. So the commander overseeing SEAL Team 6 allegedly orders a second strike, specifically to wipe out the survivors. 2 more missiles, everyone dead. Then 2 additional missiles fired just to sink what's left of the boat. A former Pentagon lawyer didn't sugarcoat it. That would be an order to show no quarter, which is a war crime. If they were civilians, it's murder. If they were combatants who were incapacitated, still illegal under laws of war. And here's where it gets darker. This wasn't just a one-off. This was the first strike of Trump's new military campaign in the Caribbean, which has now hit 22 boats, killing 82 people with virtually no transparency. Then Trump himself posts a video celebrating the missile strike on Truth Social, warning the world to beware. Meanwhile, the administration is arguing they're in an armed conflict with drug traffickers, which is not how international law works. Drug smuggling is a crime. It is not a war. You do not get the legal authority to execute survivors, and now it's creating international fallout. The UK just stopped sharing intelligence with the US on suspected traffickers because they believe these operations are illegal. Members of Congress are sounding the alarm. One said flat out, Americans will be prosecuted for this as a war crime or outright murder. And remember, Trump just called 6 lawmakers traitors for urging service members not to follow illegal orders. So yeah, if this reporting is accurate, Pete Hegseth isn't just in political trouble, he may be in the Hague trouble. Secretary
And
of
I
Defense
said that, I think I said that a couple weeks ago. I said, there's something illegal about them in these boats. This is not legal that you get to blow boats out of the water and not have any kind of evidence saying that these are actually illegal or people who are carrying drugs. You haven't shown the American public that it's justified, but you have been doing it. So it's been happening more and more. The first initial boat that was fired upon had 2 survivors. Pete Hegseth told them to kill those 2 survivors. You cannot do that. You cannot do that and not consider it a war crime. You have to take them as enemy combatants. They have to be taken as enemy combatants. You cannot willfully and maliciously kill two survivors. And this is what HEGSETH did. So yes, it's going to be considered a war crime. And many more people in this administration, there are laws. There's the UN laws, Travis Couch. It's the UN laws. So this is where we're at. No, nobody's an expert. We're just going by the law. You the one talking out your ass. Let me add this to the stage. Hold on. So we had this one person, the Brooklyn. Pete Hegseth is a fucking war criminal. He needs to be impeached and convicted. Okay. The order was to kill women. According to someone, I'm not sure who he's reading, what is being read. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave a verbal directive, according to two people who were there with direct knowledge of the operation. The order was to kill everyone. One of them said, a missile screamed off the Trinidad coast, striking the vessel and igniting a blaze from bow to stern. For minutes, commanders watched the boat burning on a live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. They got a surprise. Two survivors were clinging to the smoldering wreck. After the drone had hit the boat, there was two survivors left. The Special Operations Commander overseeing the September 2nd attack, the opening salvo in the Trump administration's war on suspected drug traffickers in the Western Hemisphere, ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions. Two people familiar with the matter said the two men were blown apart in the water. That is a fucking war crime. Excuse me. Okay? That's a war crime. So, yes, in order to do this, in order to attack the boat, they had to declare some kind of conflict between Venezuela and United States. So this is what they did. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. We have this content every day. It's called capital murder. It's called murder, yes. Two senators, a Republican and a Democrat, have called for Hegseth to explain what he is doing. This is their, what did they do? They said the committee is aware of recent reports and the Department of Defense, their initial response regarding alleged follow-on strikes on suspected narcotic vessels in the Southcom area of responsibility. The committee has directed inquiries to the department, and we will be conducting vigorous oversight to determine the facts to these circumstances. Okay, so the Senate committee vows vigorous oversight in the killing of the two boat survivors. I don't know what they're going to think about the initial strike, but the two survivors, you go back and kill the two. You make a bomb, so you do a drone strike. Then you go back and see two people alive, and you go back and then break them off. That's murder. That's murder. For people out there who don't know, that's murder. Even during wartime, have you never heard of soldiers going to prison because they broke the contract, or they broke the behavior of a soldier? They did something against the code in the military. This is what we're talking about. Going back and killing those two people is a part of the code that was broken. And Pete Hegseth gave that order he committed murder. He is a war criminal.
2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We know that for a fact. Some of you guys in the Trump administration are going to prison. It's just a fact. Okay? Unfortunately, it is what it is, but it's a fact. Hold on. Let me get to my people. Here we go.
Know the exact number, but
You don't know the number. It's 8. Can you explain why any of them were fired? Like, just explain why was the Army JAG fired? Why did you fire him?
they all serve at the pleasure of the president. And I think
No, I'm just asking you why.
General Kane is a great example.
I'm just asking you why. And you probably learned at Princeton what why means. Why did you fire him?
They serve at the pleasure of the president, and we want better representation in each and every of those.
You can't explain why you fired any of them?
We at Major News right now, a large group of former military lawyers have concluded that Pete Hegseth and anyone under him who took part in the illegal strikes in the Southern Caribbean have likely committed war crimes, murder, or both. War crimes if we are technically in an international armed conflict with these cartels. If we're not, then lawfully it's murder under federal law and under military law. And Pete Hegseth and anyone who executed the orders that were, quote, patently illegal could face criminal charges. A new statement issued by Just Security has a group of former JAG officers who created a group following Pete Hegseth's firing of multiple JAG officers earlier this year, have concluded that Hegseth's orders violate international law, violate American law, and that anyone should and could be prosecuted for murder, war crimes, or even both. Spread the word. Follow along, stay up to date on all the news that you.
This is why we got the video from the seditious 6 senators, 5 senators or congressmen. This is why we got that video, because they knew what was happening in the Caribbean was either illegal or skating on illegal. Either way, it should be investigated. Either way, that first instance where 2 people were clinging to the boat, that should be investigated because it's a war crime. That's why people who are in the military may end up going to jail or prison.
You to know about more to come very soon, so stay tuned for more.
I think the message is clear. If you break the law, if you are a criminal, you could find your way at Guantanamo Bay. You don't want to be at Guantanamo Bay.
You hit the nail on the head, my friend. And I'm going to tell you exactly why the military did nothing to stop this. I believe that this attack may have been the catalyst for this video right here, among other things. I mean, because this was obviously an illegal order. I mean, for one, the Geneva Conventions clearly states that it protects those who are shipwrecked, okay? And who's more shipwrecked than people who are hanging on the side of a destroyed boat? So even if we are at war with these people, let's just pretend we were, it would still be an illegal order because these were survivors. These were shipwreck survivors. They're protected by the Geneva Conventions. They clearly were no harm. They were no threat to anybody. But according to the Washington Post article, the commander overseeing the operations, he was at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. His name is Admiral Frank Bradley. And he told a secure conference call that the survivors were still legitimate targets because they theoretically could call other traffickers to retrieve them and their cargo, according to 2 people. Theoretically, they could have done it. But practically, they couldn't. Who the fuck were they going to call? And how were they going to get a fucking phone? They were hanging on the side of the boat. How were they going to get a phone? This makes absolutely no sense. This was an absolute fucking war crime. This was an absolute illegal order. And anybody who followed that order should, be held to pay for it. There's no other way of looking at it. And it's not me who's saying. These are like legal experts who know military law and who know this kind of stuff. They're saying that this was an absolute illegal order. We're not at war with anybody, okay? But even if we were, this was still illegal. This was murder. Whether you liked it, this is exactly why they made this video. Drugs are an absolute problem. Fentanyl is an absolute, nobody's denying that fact. Okay? But as we have learned, the path that we have taken for the past 50 years since the war on drugs has started has obviously not worked. And it's time to take another path. But what happens, someone's got to be held to account for what happened there.
We have some news right now. The United States military and Pete Hegseth are doubling down on strikes in the Southern Caribbean, despite the public now knowing, according to the Washington Post, that one strike conducted in early September was likely a violation of the international laws of war, as the United States military were ordered to, quote, kill them all, even as two men clung to the side of a burning boat in the Southern Caribbean. And while tonight, Pete Hegseth says that more strikes will be coming, the Department of Defense continues to double down on the idea that the earlier strikes were not illegal. Now, there are calls for congressional investigation to open up into Hegseth along with other military leaders at this hour. Because remember, a lot of people say, well, why won't the ICC look at this? The United States is not a party to the International Criminal Court. The United States is not a party to the Rome Statute. The only accountability here, truthfully, can come through United States congressional proceedings and then eventually maybe a court-martial, but not right now. Spread the word. Follow along, stay updated on all the news you need to know about.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced Operation Southern Spear, a military campaign he said would target narco-terrorists across the Western Hemisphere. Hegseth's announcement on social media came as the Pentagon said it had blown up another boat in the Caribbean, reportedly killing 4 people aboard. It's the 20th such strike, bringing the reported death toll to 80 people. The Pentagon claims the boats were carrying drugs, but officials have acknowledged they don't know who's been killed. The attacks have been condemned as unlawful extrajudicial killings by the UN's human rights chief. Governments including Mexico, Colombia, and the European Union and U.S. lawmakers, among others.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Dana Bash in Washington, and we are following breaking news. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is expected to leave his post in the Trump administration as National Security Advisor. It is the first top staff shakeup of President.
In a surprising turn of events, Pete Hegseth, a prominent figure once considered a key member of former President Donald Trump's circle, has reportedly been dismissed amid last-minute controversy. The news quickly spread across social media platforms like X, TikTok, and Instagram, sparking conversations about the implications of this unexpected development. Hegseth, known for his outspoken...
Yeah, he finna be out the door. Because Trump is not gonna let him take him down. Trump is not gonna let him take him down. That's the goofy part right there. He ain't gonna let him take him down, so he gonna do what he gotta do.
The first is the Senate Armed Services Committee is going to begin a review of Pete Hegseth in regard to the strikes in the Southern Caribbean as war crimes or violation of international law. I think that is fantastic. I hope this is the first step in his impeachment. And by the way, that committee is led by Republicans. The second thing, and this is worse, Trump has declared the airspace over Venezuela closed. He did so on Truth Central.
Yeah, well, he did that on Truth Social. He called for the air above Venezuela to be closed down. So that usually happens, according to some of the people reports, is that we're about to go into strike or war with Venezuela. Not war, but it really wouldn't be considered a war. I don't know whether they're just going to strike and that's it or what, but there's going to be some military action soon enough between Venezuela and us within the next, 3 days, I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm assuming.
That means we're going to start bombing them and probably invade them. That's terrible.
Yes, this is the no war president that everybody called about. This is the right-wing radical war president people said wasn't going to start a war. wasn't going to get a war started, wasn't going to do anything like that. And now we on our way to war with Venezuela. This was the no war president. And we done been in 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 conflicts according to this president.
The conclusion has led me to is that the shooting in Washington, D.C. wasn't a false flag. It was a national security failure. This, whatever is going to happen in Venezuela, bombings or an invasion, this will be the great distraction that he needs right now.
You know for a fact that the minute they get called on the carpet that this lawless, reckless, radical president is going to throw HEGSETH under the bus. You know that's what is going to happen. And we could be done with all of this if the Republicans had a backbone, if they stood on anything. But the Republicans, they don't stand on nothing. So they're going to let it run into the ground. They're going to let it run into the ground. They're going to let us all run into the ground. They're going to put us through trials and tribulations when they can just put this president out to pasture. But they don't want to do that. So we have to deal with the consequences of this trifling and very ineffective administration and the Republicans.
The faith, keep resisting. We're going to get through this.
So Pete Hegseth ordered a second strike on that boat where there were two guys just holding on to the side. That's a war crime, and that needs to be investigated, and that's something Democrats should run on. But also, we should ask Republicans, why are we just unaliving people hanging on to the edge?
I don't know why we unaliving people that's just hanging on to their. Why didn't they go get those people? Why didn't they go get those two guys and then charge them with war crime? Why didn't they go get those two guys? Because they didn't want to, because there's no proof that there's any kind of drugs. This is not about the drugs. It's about the oil. For all of the goofies that have not caught up, this is about the oil. It's not about any kind of drugs. It has nothing to do with that.
Of a piece of a boat that posed no harm. That is a war crime.
Just in case you're unclear on where I stand on this topic, I'm going to leave you with my most important thought today. If you can't treat someone with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you can't teach someone from another gender, whether that's a man or a woman, with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you demean someone in any way, then you need to get out. And if you can't treat someone from another race or a different color skin with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. Reach for your phones. I'm serious. Reach for your phones. Okay, you don't have to reach for your phones. I'm going to give you an opportunity to reach for your phones. Grab your phones. I want you to videotape this so that you have it, so that you can use it. So that we all have the moral courage together. All of us on the staff tower, lining the glass, all of us in this room. This is our institution. And if you need it, and you need my words, then you keep these words. And you use them, and you remember them, and you share them, and you talk about them. If you can't treat someone with dignity and respect.
We've now learned that Pete Hegseth more than likely gave at least one illegal order or more when he ordered the second missile.
I wish you would grow up, Virgil. I really wish you would.
Venezuelan boat in international waters to unalive the two survivors that were clinging on to the wreckage. This is called denial of quarter. And if you were in a true war, which we're not, if you're in a war situation and you captured prisoners or they are no longer a threat to you, you cannot unalive them, period. And Pete Hegseth gave the order to unalive them, violating this denial of quarter for these two men. Whoever down below him, whether it's an admiral They say SEAL Team 6 carried this out, followed this illegal order. This is what we have Kelly, Alyssa Slotkin, and others saying you cannot follow illegal orders. This is what they're talking about. And Pete Hegseth and whoever's below him clearly gave illegal orders here.
And I truly think that those men who were a part of that mission, the men or women that were a part of that mission that went over there and blew up those boats, started to question the orders. And this is why those 6 senators made that video. They made the video because those men were questioning whether we were supposed to be killing those people. Okay? So even if they're at war, Black America, even if they're not at war, then it's even worse if they're not at war. You understand? If they're not at war, it's even worse, Black America. That means you're just committing murder just randomly on people out in the water. That makes it worse.
There will be consequences after this administration for those that...
Oh yeah, plenty of people will go to jail. Kristi Noem, Bondi. Bondi should be disbarred right now. Bondi should be just disbarred right now. Maybe Marco Rubio for the bullshit that's going down right now in Venezuela. Pete Hegseth for the bullshit that's going on right now. Kristi Noem for fleecing the American public out of $400 million. Kristi Noem. Bondi for setting up that incompetent idiot who was in trial with Comey, who presented some stuff that could get her disbarred, on top of the fact that it could get Bondi disbarred for Bondi signing off on it. Just wild shit. There's plenty of people that can go. That Holman character, the director of Homeland Security, no, the one who's in charge of the border, who accepted a big gigantic bag of money on tape, and the FBI got a tape of him taking blackmail money. This is a clown car of an administration. A clown car of administration.
Gave and followed illegal orders. We will have probably something similar to what took place in Nuremberg. I guarantee it. This administration will change, trial. And there will be those held responsible for these orders that are illegal when they are, and those that carry them out. Saying you followed orders is not going to protect you. Even if it came from the president, it will not protect you. You need to go back and check history. Love here for my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and the burned out light bulbs. Illegal orders from Pete Hegseth. I know you're shocked.
The burned out light bulbs.
We have major news right now. A senior Republican senator has opened a bipartisan investigation into the Department of Defense and Pete Hegseth after we learned of Pete Hegseth's possible war crimes yesterday from the Washington Post. And at the same time, Donald Trump is warning that war with Venezuela could be imminent, and he has declared the airspace over Venezuela closed starting today to all aircraft, including commercial and military flights.
Starting today, which means they're going to move. That means they're going to start to bomb Venezuela, which means that we're going to war probably in the next week or two with Venezuela. This no war president, who is a war president that got 3, 4, 5 different wars going on, this corrupt right-wing party that's getting rejected at every turn, we're going to war with Venezuela. They stopped all the air. They stopped all the air traffic over Venezuela, which basically means we're going to start bombing Venezuela.
He is declaring the airspace of another sovereign country closed completely. We have a major development right now, and I need your help to like, comment, share, and subscribe to support, but also to spread the word, because right now, the United States Senate, led by a Republican, may begin investigating Pete Hegseth for possible war crimes while Donald Trump moves America closer to war. Overnight, Chairman Roger Wicker, who is the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and Senator Jack Reed, who is the ranking member of the Armed Service Committee, issued the following statement. The committee is aware of recent news reports and the Department of Defense's initial response.
Okay, I read that, so we don't need to go through there again. Let's listen to these people.
The world, the same thing I've been telling you guys. Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump don't know what the fuck they're talking about. On day one of basic military training, you are taught on what the definition of lawful and unlawful orders are. And apparently, Mr. Navy SEAL Pete Hegseth doesn't understand what day one of basic military training is. Let me educate you, Mr. Navy SEAL. After the Yahtzees were captured after World War II.
Hey, Goofy, Suburban. They got the conclusion of the report. The report was done from, what's his name? The special prosecutor. He did come up with the answers. Go read the special prosecutor report. Suburban, what is his name? Suburban Conan. Yeah, Goofy. Go read that about the Russian spy. We already came to the conclusion. We already know what it is.
A legal process then ensued to define exactly what unlawful orders are. They include mass executions of civilians that pose no threat to you. They include SA as a weapon. They include POWs being executed. These laws exist for the very reasons that Yahtzee Germany existed. They are there for...
It's called the Mueller report. It's called the Mueller report, Suburban Conan. It's called the Mueller report. It'll tell you everything you need to know about your corrupt, right-wing, radical president. Tell you everything you need to know.
For a reason. And E-fucking-ones understand it, and the Secretary of Defense does not. That should alarm you. I am joining with other JAGs across the country that are calling for the impeachment and conviction of Pete Hegseth.
It's not about drugs. It's not about the Caribbean. It's not about border security. It's the left hand. Create a crisis big enough to justify military force so the executive can expand authority without resistance. Trump keeps claiming that boats from Venezuela are carrying drugs. But here's what he hasn't shown. Any evidence, no intel, no congressional briefing, no public confirmation from DEA, DHS, DOD, or even the Coast Guard. Nothing. And that right there is the tell. Because if this were really about drug interdiction, we would have the intel, the chain of custody, and the oversight that normally comes with military action. And this isn't an evidence-based mission. It's an excuse-based mission. Venezuela is being used as the justification for something much, much bigger. Expanding presidential power through a manufactured crisis. Here's how it works. You pick a foreign threat, but you pick one you can't lose against. A country isolated, sanctioned, economically broken, and totally unable to push back. That is Venezuela. It's not an adversary, it's a tool. Because once you create a foreign crisis, even a fake one, you can unlock emergency powers a president normally can't use. Military force, expanding ICE authority, border militarization, bypassing Congress, and framing every dissenting voice as unpatriotic. A crisis in Venezuela doesn't just give Trump power either. It also gives his donors profit. Private detention companies, Core Civic Group and Geo Group have already given Trump nearly $2.8 million across campaigns, inaugurals, and PACs. Both donated $500,000 each to his 2025 inaugural alone. They run the detention centers that fill up the moment a border crisis is declared. More raids, more detentions, more money. Oil and gas billionaires, Harold Hamm, Kelsey Warren, and the entire fracking and pipeline lobby poured over $14 million into Trump-aligned PACs. Kelsey Warren alone gave $6 million. Tim Dunn gave $5 million. Harold Hamm chipped in $1.2 million. Why would they?
I wish you would say it again, Jeff Hefner. I wish you would say it again to these Goofies in the chat, I wish you would just say it again. Drug smuggling is not classified as a death penalty offense. Goofies, you don't just kill people because they are smuggling drugs. Goofies, you notice how they justifying death in the chat. Oh, they drug dealers, that's okay. No, smuggling is not classified as a death penalty offense. Say it again, Jeffrey Hefner. Goofies, they committed murder. That's not considered a murderable offense. Wow. Wow.
Love a Venezuela crisis because Venezuela has some of the largest oil reserves in the world. Any instability in the region drives up global oil prices. So who profits? Oil and gas donors. And you know what? Doesn't stop there. Defense contractors, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing have all donated through executives and PACs. A military confrontation in the Caribbean, that means more contracts, more surveillance tech, more naval spending, more profit. So no, this isn't about boats. This isn't about drugs. It's about manufacturing instability that Trump, his allies, his donors, and backers can turn into money and power. Which is why he doesn't care that he's already being accused of war crimes. Because in phase 2, which is consolidation, accountability doesn't matter. The point isn't to avoid crossing lines. The point is to redraw the lines entirely. And the Venezuela threat gives him the crisis he needs to justify more force, more control, and more unchecked authority at home. This isn't foreign policy. It's domestic power wrapped in a foreign headline. No evidence, no oversight, no transparency. Just enough noise to justify the next step. Venezuela is just a cover story, and that is the left hand.
We lose the midterms and we lose 2028. Some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Because we're not going to forget that you all committed murder. You all committed war crimes on top of other crimes that you have committed. Profiting when you're not supposed to be profiting, using money from the American people. It's a interesting time in which we live where we have no pushback. But you notice lately we have had Republicans coming out and saying something is wrong with this administration. That Massey, MTG, bailing on this president because they can see the end. They can see. You better hope people decide that they won't put these people in prison. They better hope that they won't do that because some of these people are going to deserve to go to prison. So it is what it is. We will see who is going to be even more of a target to go to prison. This is where we're at. Yes, I see where the president said that these were terrorists, and then that gave him the right to say that these people deserve to, I guess maybe that might be, that might be why they can break up. I hate to say the word killing. I hate to say that, but it is what it is, right? But when you have 6 senators who come out and publicly make a video saying military service members do not have to follow illegal orders, they're basically trying to remind the American people or the country or the military or whoever of the very, very, very simple truth. The military follows the Constitution. They do not they are not loyal to the president. They're loyal to the Constitution. Okay? loyal to the Constitution, not the president. Soldiers, they are trained that if the orders they violate, they violate orders, they violate and use illegal orders, like harm civilians, executing prisoners, which is primarily what they're going to hinge this on, execute prisoners or carry out acts the commander knows very well are illegal. And that, what the hell is the name of that one? That one, show to order. What's the name of it? Order no quarter. When they do the no quarter, they know that that's an illegal order. They know it's an illegal order. That's why they had to be calling people. They had to be calling people asking around. And these senators and these former spies and all these people who made that video, they heard about these people asking around. Are we violating? Are we doing something illegal? And then they acted accordingly and made the video because they didn't want to approach those or do those two people or do those people individually. They just wanted to put out a big gigantic PSA. They know when they have unlawful orders, they're supposed to refuse them. Did they refuse these orders in Venezuela? That message that they put out wasn't an attack on their president. The president took it as an attack because he's a sensitive little bitch and he likes to be sensitive about everything. It was a reminder that the military has rules to prevent, and those rules keep the democracy stable. The president called those senators who responded to those people seditious. That's a very dangerous thing to do because it flips the idea of loyalty upside down. Sedition means to overthrow the government. That's what sedition means. Insurrection, sedition. But the senators were actually upholding the Constitution, not undermining the Constitution. They weren't telling troops to disobey the president. They were giving the troops a roadmap. You know this, you know there are unlawful orders, then you cannot follow those. They were telling them to obey the law first, which is exactly how our system is supposed to work. Follow the law. And the president responded like they were telling people to jump the fuck over the board, jump the fuck out of the army, and start doing crazy shit, which is simply not true. That's not what they were telling these military people were calling around asking, are these orders lawful? And we're afraid that if we do it, and see, it don't matter. The excuse that I didn't know it was illegal doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I know orders. I know orders, unlawful and lawful. Don't tell me what I don't know. They thought him telling the people telling them to follow the orders, follow the law, is like telling them to revolt. And that wasn't what they were doing. Okay? This whole situation shows how heated and messy the politics have become with this right radical administration. When leaders start attacking people for stating basic constitutional facts, we definitely got to hear. We definitely got to hear from the goofies in the chat that says this is unlawful because your interpretation is not right. Their interpretation is correct. Your interpretation is not. So, excuse me if I don't believe you. The midterms are coming, thank God. So when leaders start attacking people for stating basic constitutional facts, it creates confusion, fear, and mistrust. These people who carried out these orders were concerned. These senators would not have made this PSA if they had not been concerned. And the thing is, the president seems to think you're supposed to be loyal to him. As a service member, you're loyal to the Constitution because the Constitution is steadfast. The man is not steadfast. The president, yes, the video was related to this bombing in Venezuela. That's what the video was related to. The people that were probably related to, who were probably in that mission, probably called around and said, we got a problem. We don't know whether these are lawful or unlawful. Okay? So this is probably what happened. And that's why they made the PSA. And it's okay. It's okay. Hey, everybody, look, I don't expect nobody to do the right thing in this administration. This 4 years is a clown car show. This 4 years that we got to put up with this president is a clown car show. So everybody's committing illegal acts. Everybody's saying the wrong shit. Everybody's doing illegal shit. Everybody's saying shit they ain't supposed to. We don't have nobody standing up for the rule of law. Everybody's doing what they want to. President is profiting off the backs of the American people. Kristi Noem is profiting off the backs of American people. There's no constitutional people that are taking up trying to keep the Constitution in order. So I expect this clown car bullshit to keep going. I expect the incompetence will continue to show itself with all of the people, the DEI hires that this right-wing radical president hired. I expect all of these clown car people to make all the mistakes that could be. I just hope it ain't no mistakes that will cost us lives. I hope these are things that won't cost us lives, American lives, because this president is so incompetent, so very incompetent and radical. And hopefully Tuesday they show him some, show him that we are right on their heels. That's all the person has to do is come within 5 points. And it's over for you Republicans. It's over for you. Because y'all don't stand for anything. Oh, I need you all to put in the chat what the big beautiful bill did for you. Okay. I need y'all to put in the chat what the big beautiful bill did for you. If you make between 30 and 150K, I need you to put in what the big beautiful bill did for you. Patiently waiting. Why are you in the chat? I'm confused. Why are you in the chat? This low level. This is where you meet. This is where you meet your maker. This is where you meet your level. This is where you belong. This is where you belong. I don't even know why you keep saying it. This is where you belong. Tuesday, the election of Afton Bain. Afton Bain is running in the Tennessee District 7. Tennessee is a deeply red state. Afton Bain came from 20 points behind to within 2 points. It's a deeply red state. Afton Bain is a blue candidate in the deeply red state of Tennessee. Now, and Donald Trump won that state in 2024 at 22 points. He won it by 22 points. If Afton Bain comes within 5 points of losing or winning, the Republicans are in deep trouble. It is a blueprint on the way that they're going to be smashed out of Sweden, because you Republicans don't want to govern. You just want to make money. You just want to spend money. You just want to give money to the rich. You don't want to govern anyone because you don't know how to govern. You don't know how to govern. You don't know how to govern for the people. You only know how to govern for the rich. You only take care of the rich. You never do anything for the poor people. No, somebody put no tax on overtime. Let's get an understanding. Let's get an understanding. Tax on overtime and taxes on tips only apply, listen, only apply to people who file itemized deduction taxes. Did you hear that? There's two types of taxes people file, itemized and standard. Most people pick standard because they don't have enough itemized. Now, you don't have enough to itemize with the no tax. So therefore, you're not going to file for the no taxes on tips, and it doesn't apply to you. The no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime doesn't apply to regular, ordinary individual people. It only applies to people who make a lot of money. So where have you seen anywhere on any of y'all taxes before now something that says anything about taxes, says anything about gas, says anything about any little thing that you might think that you want to claim? When you look at your taxes, it asks you, do you want to go through your taxes and do every little thing and itemize, or do you want to do the standard? Most people pick the standard. So therefore, this itemized tax on tips, tax on overtime don't apply to you. So stop saying it applies to you, because it doesn't. Most people do standard deduction with their taxes, not itemized deduction. Yeah, okay, Fred. Whatever. 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 Okay. Okay. You all like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. We always have this kind of content. I'd appreciate the sub. We appreciate the like. We appreciate the share. This is something that I just wanted to bring to you all, that we might have some hearings and things going on from here on out, starting soon, because this is considered a war crime. If they come to the conclusion that it is a war crime, Pete Hegseth will be going to jail or prison. Hey, they put Michael Flynn in jail, so hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So why can't they tick? You can tick itemized deduction. You can. You can. You can. You know how you claim stuff on your taxes? You claim stuff on your taxes? You're going to claim your overtime on your taxes? Go ahead. Go ahead. If you don't have other things that you're going to itemize, you're going to do the standard deduction, not the itemized deduction where the tax on tips and the tax on overtime go. Most people don't do the itemized side. They do the standard side. Most people. I'm just saying. You need to go check out the checks. You need to look that up right now and then go see what itemized deductions mean. Just go look it up and see what's going on. I'm just talking out my ass. Don't know jack shit. So please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. Appreciate the sub. I'll see you later. Of course, I'm gonna see you.